Support for Radio Friends comes from La Brunerie Financial, where they work to ensure a lifetime of financial security for people from all walks of life, from investment services to retirement plans. If you're looking for a trustworthy company that has the experience and knowledge to put your interests first, contact La Brunerie Financial, a community-based investment counseling firm since 1966. Learn more at labrunerie.com or by calling 573-449-5313. Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Monday, February 25th. Mel Zelenak is with us, our consumer expert, travel guru.
Hi, Paul.
Good to have you here, Mel.
Good seeing you.
Now, last time you were here, we started talking about all these books.
We did talk about the 3 books that I recommended for Christmas.
Yeah.
And that's basically all we were able to cover. The 3 were Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Smartest Investment Book, and My List. And a 4th one that I just thought of, because this fellow recently passed away, is John Bogle. And he's the one who founded Vanguard, and he's the one who really started index funds. And index funds now are about 40% of our investment.
Okay, explain what an index fund is.
Okay, an index fund, there's many different kinds, but the ones that are most popular, quite frankly, are you buy an entire market. So with Vanguard, what they did is they have many index funds, but I'll give you 3 examples, the 3 that are most popular. Total stock market, which is basically you buy 5,000 stocks that are basically all the stocks.
Okay, now, when you say you buy 5,000 stocks, you're buying a portion of each one of those stocks.
Absolutely.
So that means that you are invested totally across the entire stock market.
Across the 5,000 basically largest companies, if you will. That's the easiest way to explain it. S&P, Standard & Poor's 500, are the 500 largest stocks.
So when you buy an S&P 500 fund, you are invested in all 500.
All 500 of them, yes.
No matter how many shares you buy, you're getting a tiny portion of each one of them.
You have a very small portion of them. And the nice thing about and then the third one is international market. So with those 3 combinations, you pretty well have much of the stock market. I'm being very simplistic here.
Right, I understand that. That is very simplistic.
Yeah.
But what it boils down to, if you have an S&P 500 fund, you're invested in 500 of the largest companies.
That's correct.
And the fact that over time, not necessarily in a year or 2 years, over time, that your portfolio will continue to grow.
Well, and that's correct. But keep in mind, there are some times when the market goes up, it goes down. But historically, you're exactly right. It'll be over a long period of time, it's 6 or 7% a year. But the key is that if you need the money in 2008, for example, I had actually a good friend of mine, my best friend when I grew up. He was inherited a lot of index funds, and he sold them in 2008. Well, he lost so much money because he wanted the money, or he needed the money, and he was getting frustrated with how low the market was going. So he just sold everything.
When it was low?
When it was low, yeah. It was near the lowest point.
And then, since then, it has come up.
Yeah, I 3 times the amount.
So you have to have the stomach for it. You have to have the patience to stay with it. And keep in mind, you're not doing this for 2 months from now or 3 months from now. You're doing it for years from now.
Well, and that's a good point. And there are many types of questionnaires that are out there that would explain how risk adverse you are. And I would recommend strongly that somebody who's thinking about starting an investment portfolio at 20, 21, 22 years old, look at how risk adverse they are. Some people, like at our age, probably because we have fewer years left, probably would want to be in more conservative areas like bonds, for example, or a combination. But if that person doesn't need the money ever, they might still be 100% in total stock market, S&P, or whatever they take. There are small stock indexes. Yeah. There's hundreds of different indexes.
You know what? You wanted to get to some of these resolutions.
Yeah.
And we've got about 3 minutes left, so hit some of those resolutions.
Okay, let's start with we've already talked quite a bit about investing in low-cost index funds. The fellow, by the way, who just passed away started Vanguard, and his name is John Bogle. And if it wasn't for him, we would probably not even have index funds.
Okay.
So just mention that. Number two, and we don't talk much about this, but exercise regularly.
Okay, this is a financial tip. This is a financial tip.
And we talked about it briefly. Why is it, Paul?
Exercise regularly. Okay, that when you exercise, you're helping your health. You're adding to your years. When you help your health, you're bringing down doctor bills and medical costs.
Do you know what the estimate is on it per year?
What?
$2,500 a year, according to the American Heart Association, if you exercise regularly. Regularly is about 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week.
So if you exercise regularly about 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, you're going to end up saving $2,000 some odd dollars a year.
According to the American Heart Association, reported in New York Times, September 7th of 16 was the last information.
All right, that's number two. What's number three?
I pay off all credit cards in full each month.
Sure.
Now
that's a no-brainer.
That is a no-brainer, but you know and I know that about 35% of the population does not do that.
Some people maybe they were throwing a curveball, and the only thing that's keeping them afloat is using that credit card to make ends meet. And that's unfortunate, but it's also a lifeline, correct?
Paul, you know the old saying, if you dig yourself in a hole, stop digging. And that's what I would say here. At some point in time, the data I have here, lifetime savings and interest alone for the typical person, $279,000 in credit card costs if you
don't pay it off.
Don't pay it off.
Well, when you get your credit card saved, now I pay mine off every month, but I charge everything I possibly can put on that credit card. I put on the credit card, pay it off each month. But what's amazing, they send you, when you get the bill, they send you a little estimate. If you pay only the minimum amount, it will take you 20 some odd years to pay this off, and your interest will be such and such. And
well, that's interesting because I've not seen that.
Yeah, on mine they do. They break it down. If you pay it all now, no interest, and if you pay it over a 10-year period or a 20-year period, and it's unbelievable how high that interest is.
I know.
So pay your credit card off in full each month.
Pay it off in full. And instead of worrying about the credit card, put it on auto pay.
Okay.
And it will be done automatically. Just make sure you have enough in your checking.
Right. That's important. Don't bounce it. Mel, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
All right. Drop me an email, pepperp@missouri.edu, something you'd like to hear or see. Bye-bye.